Okay, welcome everyone. We'll wait just a minute here before we get started to allow people to join. A few housekeeping items. If you'd like to ask questions in the Q&A section, you can use the chat feature, which is in the controls ribbon that you would see next to, I think, where the attendees are, and you can click on the chat and ask questions that way. I have Jenny in our marketing department with us, and she's going to help me by reading out the questions at the end of the webinar, but feel free to type them at any time. Okay, we'll get started in just a moment here. And one more item is if you want to, if you're seeing Jenny and I, our video, you can go into that control ribbon and actually hide the video so that you can see the full screen. So that's just for your information.
Hey, Aaron, if you could, the chat feature is disabled.
The chat feature is disabled.
And
okay.
That's okay, because people would be going into the Q&A.
Okay, maybe, so it may be that the question, this is our first time using the Zoom platform, so it may be that the chat feature only shows up at the end. I'm not quite sure, but if not, we'll figure out a way to do questions. But let's get started with the webinar.
Yep, the Q&A works, Aaron. We're good to go.
Okay. All right, so we'll get started. So let's see. So welcome to the webinar on remote monitoring and the new DryLINK Web Portal. Just a little bit about me. I'm Aaron Heinem. I've been with Thermistor for 12 years, most of that time with Phoenix. I'm currently the business unit leader. I've always loved technology and innovation, and that's what has led me to DryLINK. I'm really passionate about this and excited about where it's going. And I'm really going to enjoy sharing some of the stuff that we have going on today with you. I'd like to start with the agenda so you know what we're covering. We want to tell you what DryLINK is, as we may have some new users here, but I'm going to do this rather quickly. It's not the focus of the webinar. I always like to point out the problems that we're solving with DryLINK, so we'll spend a little bit of time with that. And then we'll get into the heart of the presentation, which is on remote monitoring and the DryPHONE. I want you to see how simple it is to use the DryPHONE to do remote monitoring and just how powerful that is. Then we're going to go to the web portal. I'm going to show you how to use that. So we'll have an interactive part where I can show you how the web portal allows you to interact with the same data that's in the DryLINK app. And you can do that from any PC. And then at the end, we're going to spend a little time talking about upcoming innovations, including asset tracking, managing all jobs by exception, multi-location companies, and then also offline mode. Okay, so what is the DryLINK ecosystem? It's a Bluetooth-based job site data collection tool with optional remote monitoring. We also include a drying report. There's now the web portal, and there's a complete asset tracking system that is coming soon. Okay, so I'll go through this slide rather quickly, but in case you're new to DryLINK, I'm going to go clockwise, starting with the DryMax XL. This was the first Bluetooth-enabled data logging dehumidifier that reported into this app. And this, in the picture in the middle represents your technician's phone showing the DryLINK app, and then that created a drying report. Whoops. And so this is what we started with, and we wanted to see if people appreciated the time savings, which they did. So with that, we kept developing the ecosystem. The next thing we did was we got the dry tag. So the dry tag is not just an asset tracking beacon, but it also has an accelerometer inside. So it allows a number of things to happen. It allows us to know if equipment is on or off by sensing vibration, which that also allows us to know how many hours of runtime on a job and lifetime hours. It allows us to put it on, because it's low cost and it's Bluetooth low energy, battery powered, we can put it on air movers. So now we can do asset tracking, but we can also have air movers in the app. So, and not just air movers, you can put it on any equipment that you like. And if it has a motor and turns on, it's likely that we'll be able to pick up the vibrations and sense if it's on or off. Then the next thing we did was built that into the AirMax. And the advantage there is that if you buy a lot of these, when you pull the battery tab here, we've already scanned all this information at the factory. It's in our cloud. So as soon as you pull the battery tab, we know what serial number, make, and model it is. Then, whoops, going around, you'll see that this is just showing using the dry tag on any brand of equipment. And then down at the bottom, you can see the DryPHONE. So the DryPHONE is meant to be put in place of where the technician's phone is when you leave the job site to keep the data streaming. And the nice thing about Bluetooth is you don't really have to do anything other than open the app, and all of the data flows into the phone, and the cellular on the phone or Wi-Fi is used to stream it to the cloud. Then going around, you see the DryMax BLE. We have a retrofit kit available if you have an older DryMax that doesn't have the Bluetooth built in. And then you'll see over here the DryTag RH. This is a standalone thermal hygrometer that can be used to automate the affected area, unaffected area, and HVAC readings. We really wanted to have a complete system so that all equipment and all readings could be automated. And the DryTag RH was an important part of this system. And then you'll see the next icon here is showing on anybody's dehumidifier, whether it's Phoenix or a competitor's unit. You can take off the outlet grill, put the DryTag RH, zip tie it to the back of the outlet grill, reinstall it. You go into the app and you marry the two together so that it's permanently knows that that DryTag RH is actually a dehumidifier and it streams data. And then we have the DrySense up here. The DrySense is bringing moisture content sensing into the ecosystem. This is really important. So you can put it into wet drywall. You can put stainless screws with this attachment we're showing up here into harder materials such as wood framing, and that's going to stream your moisture content. Okay, so now I like to take a little time to understand the problems we're solving. So here are the problems, and I'm going to talk about how we're solving them. Finding skilled labor. We've been hearing for a couple of years now, this is a #1 problem for contractors. Then we have the time it takes to get paid from the insurance carriers, and also the reduction of invoices submitted by carriers. Then we have not using the correct amount of equipment on the job, and I'll talk about that in a little bit of how we're helping there. Then we have 2 asset tracking problems, which is lost equipment and not knowing where available equipment is located when a new call comes in. And then we have double entry of data. So I'm going to talk about each one of these quickly so you understand them. So on the labor shortage front, so we're gonna allow you to do more with less. So you can take readings instantly. So that means on an average job, it takes about 45 minutes for 1 day to take your readings. And if an average job is 5 days, so you're going to save 3 to 4 hours per job just on taking readings. Now, with the DryPHONE, you can also take readings remotely. You can actually schedule automatic readings on the web portal. And you'll see over here, we're showing this, and I'm going to show you how you actually do that in the web portal. You can prioritize your on-site visits that you do need to make based on the remote readings, and you can monitor all jobs for issues, and that's a future implementation I'm going to talk about at the end. And as far as getting paid more quickly, we have verified readings directly from sensors, verified equipment usage, and verified equipment location. Now, we've had contractors come to us and say, hey, this is great. When I submit a DryLINK drying report with this verified information, I get paid more quickly. And more than that, it can stop haircuts to your invoices. We have verified readings coming from sensors, and you can put as many of these readings on the drying report as you like, but in the web portal, you can actually see 96 atmospheric readings per day and 24 moisture content readings per day. So you have a lot of data backing you up. Okay, and then as far as having the correct equipment on the job, I'm showing this particular screen and it's in the web portal, but we have the same thing in the app where you can see that where it says test chambers and it's green, you can see that it says IICRC recommendations 100%. So it's green, it's met. And then if we look down in the rooms where you would have the amount of air movers, and it says actual 3, recommendation 3 to 4. And then this room number 2, we only have 2, and we're supposed to have 4 to 5. So not only are we slowing down the drying process, but we're shorting ourselves money because we're using the IICRC equipment recommendations. So this tool, and in the app, it's interactive because this equipment is all connected. We're not relying on humans to say what they put on the job. We actually know what they put on the job, and we can tell them in real time if they need to add more. So this is a handy feature. Okay, and then as far as lost equipment, on this page, you'll see that along the left side, we're showing locations, and this is something that we'll be launching at the first of the year, locations along the left side and types of equipment along the right side. And then it's all summed up at the top. All the locations are summed up, and you can click on available or on the job, and it will only show you the available equipment by type and by location. So this is how we're going to be setting up the asset tracking. And then as far as double entry, I want to talk about the integrations that we have and the TPA partnerships that we have. We just launched an integration with Encircle. So DryLINK and Encircle talk to each other. Then we have, we're one of 4 job management softwares approved by the Crawford Contractor Connection Network. We have an integration with Restoration Manager. We also have one with Exact Analysis. And then coming soon, for those familiar with the Chuck DeWald Drying School, we have the E3 technology that Chuck has developed that will be built into DryLINK, and that will be launching soon. Same thing with Exact Scope for those of you that use the Exactware platform. More details to come there, and many other integrations to help you so that you don't have to double enter information. Okay, so now I want to show you how to use the DryPHONE for remote monitoring. It's actually quite simple. There's a few things you need to know before we get started here. First of all, it's needed for remote monitoring and job status alerts. You must be logged into your company with the DryPHONE in order to do remote monitoring. You must select the equipment that's in range of the DryPHONE that you want to monitor. And just to answer questions on that, it is possible on a larger job that you might need more than one DryPHONE. Now, to give you an example, we did a job where it was a 20-story condo on the Mississippi Gulf Coast where we strategically placed 6 DryPHONEs on that job, and the power was out. So that meant the elevator was out. So you can imagine how long it would take to get those readings. But with the DryPHONEs, we were able to get the readings instantly. You must plug the DryPHONE in. You must leave it on the job site. And there's an Xactimate code for remote monitoring, WTRRM. That's 1 DryPHONE and up to 10 sensors. You get additional money for additional sensors. Okay, and so now what I want to do is I want to give you a demonstration of how you would use the DryPHONE. So I'm going to switch the screen. So here we have the DryPHONE. And what I'm going to do is first I'm going to show you, if I go into the settings tab, I just want to show you that, and this is on your personal account here, there's a notifications tab. I just want to show you that this is for my personal account. So I'm not receiving any notifications right now. So if I want to receive notifications, I have to either select email or text or both, because if I don't, I won't get any notifications. But anyway, I just wanted to show you that setting. Now I'm going to go back to the alerts part of the DryPHONE. And this is where you can see I don't have any equipment alerts. I don't have any job status alerts, but I'm going to go into a job. So I'm going to do job status alerts. Now, normally you would be setting this job up, but I'm going to go in here because I don't have, a job with a bunch of equipment nearby. But you can see I've enabled it. So you would enable job status alerts, and then it would ask you to select all the equipment that's nearby. And you can see this is out of range, but this is what it would look like. And it would give you a count at the top. You can see we have 10. So you'll know if you have all the equipment selected and what you're monitoring. And then once you get it set up, you hit save, and now you'll begin your monitoring. Now that monitoring by the DryPHONE is going to tie in with the web portal. I'm going to show you a lot of things it can do, but right now I'm just going to review the alert section, which is just one part of this. So you can see there's a recipients tab. You can see in my company, I just have 2 people, and right now I'm the only one selected to receive alerts for the job status alerts. Now, if we look at the alerts, we have a bunch of different types. There's different alerts for being offline or equipment turned off, because they're 2 different things. Offline would mean we've lost the signal. So maybe somebody moved the equipment, or somehow it's out of range. Equipment turned off, you see here, is somebody physically turning the equipment off. So the offline ones, we have a duration because we don't want to have any nuisance alerts. So we typically leave it at an hour, but you can set it to whatever you like. And then going down to the chamber alerts, we have high and low RH that you can set. There's thresholds. We have it at 20 and 60, but you can pick whatever you like. Same thing with temperature. We have 95 and 65, but you can set your own. And then at the bottom, you're going to see there's chamber GPP slow to decrease. We have a duration and a threshold. So after 12 hours, I want this to decrease by 10 GPP. If that doesn't happen, please let me know. So that's what it looks like in the app. And now what we're going to do is we are going to move back to the presentation. So I'll stop sharing on my phone. And all right, so hopefully we're back to the presentation. Okay, so now I want to talk about the web portal. So the web portal, here's what the login screen looks like. You can find the web portal at usedrylink.com, and you can log in with your existing DryLINK credentials, or if you don't have a DryLINK account, you can create one there. And then, so before we get into it, I'm just going to show you kind of what it looks like. So this is the map view. So you can see along the left-hand side, we have all of the jobs. We normally show the active jobs, but you can show completed or all. And then the map will render the jobs that you have on the screen to the right. Then we have what's called the drying data view. So again, we're showing all your jobs on the left, but you can click on any one job and you can see all your affected area readings on the screen. So you can see how that job is proceeding. You can easily click through your jobs to see how they're going. And then you can get down to the specific equipment level, and you can see all the 96 readings per day that piece of equipment is recording. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is move over to the web portal. So bear with me here. We'll share that screen. Okay, so the DryLINK Web Portal looks like this. And what I would like to show you is I'm going to start with the settings tab. So I just want to show you what we have in the settings area. So you can see here's my notifications that I showed you in the app that I don't have any selected, but I could. And then in the unit section here, we can change between metric and imperial on all these different settings. If I move over to job management alerts, this is where I can select different things like new job started, new job completed, and jobs that are taking too long. So this you'd want to have for somebody in the office that might want to have this information. If I move over to my teams, this is where I can invite new users. So when you set up your company, the owner should be the owner in DryLINK, and then you can type in email addresses and just separate them with a comma. And then so you'd invite all the people you want to be technicians, then you could invite all the people that you want to be administrators, and they would get emails and it would walk them through getting their account set up. And then you would all be in the same account. You want to make sure you're in the same account. You don't want to have all your employees with different companies set up. And you can manage the employees from in here. You can see I'm the owner. I have one employee that I could remove if I wanted to. And then moving along, this is the company profile. This is where you can put a logo that's going to show up on your drying report and the information about your company. And then finally, we have the integrations tab. On the integrations tab, you can see right now we have Restoration Manager, Exact Analysis, and Encircle. And they all work slightly different, but when you click on the tab, on Restoration Manager, we give you a key that you put into Restoration Manager. On Exact Analysis, you have to know your exact company ID and your exact net address. And then with Encircle, you go into Encircle and you get what's called a bearer token, and then you enter it here. And once you enter that information, that will start the integrations. So that's the settings tab within the web portal. Now we're going to look at the equipment tab. Now the equipment tab will have all your inventory in your company, and it's a nice place to add non-smart equipment. Now right now, Bluetooth equipment needs to be added in the app because it's using the Bluetooth on the phone. But let's say you have some dry tags and you need to add some non-smart equipment so that you can add your dry tags to it. You can come in here and I can just type in DHU1 or whatever I need to. And then I'll fill in the serial tab with some numbers. Then we go down. This is going to be a dehumidifier. We'll say it's an LGR, say it's a large. And of course, this is going to be a Phoenix. Whoops. And we will say this is a DryMax. And then, of course, that's 80 pints per day. And then we can add it. And now we will have DHU1. Now I have a search box here, so I can type in DHU1. Whoops. Hopefully I can type in DHU1. And there we go. We have DHU1s. This is the one I just created. So then that'll show up in the app. So everything you do on the web portal also will show up in the app. So if I create this, I can create all the non-smart dehumidifiers, and then I can go into my app and then just pull the battery tab on my dry tags and assign them to the ones that I've created. So that's how you create equipment in the app. You can go look at any particular piece of equipment. Here's what a non-smart piece of equipment or a smart dehumidifier looks like. This one is telling me to replace the dry tag battery. And if you wonder why you'd have a battery on a dry tag on a smart dehumidifier, it's because when the dehumidifier is off, it is not transmitting Bluetooth. So if I want to do asset tracking, that's why I would have it. So here it shows the last known location on a map. This is showing it's at Thermistore. And then here's all the last information about this piece of equipment. Okay, so that's what the equipment tab looks like. Then if we go to the jobs tab, I'm actually going to go to a different account. And by the way, I want to show that's a nice feature that you can log into multiple accounts. So even though we don't really support multi-locations rolled up into one main company, we do have the ability where you can log into on the web portal different DryLINK accounts at the same time. Okay, so again, we have the jobs here. So what I'm going to show you is I'm just going to scroll down. There's one that's called test job. And I'm going to switch to the drying data tab. I want to show you what the test job looks like. This is the one I showed you earlier. And you can see how I can just scroll over here and I can see all the readings that are in our cloud that were taken roughly every 15 minutes. It's giving me the GPP and all the related information. Now, if I go into this test job, I'm going to see that once it loads, I will see that we have the basic job information. This job has been completed. We did not use IICRC recommendations. We could restart the job or look at the report. And as we go down, we can see our drying chambers. One thing that we haven't implemented yet is adding equipment through the web portal. At first, we thought people wouldn't want to do that, but now we've realized that if you have a tablet, you may want to take advantage of that. So we are going to add that in the future, but right now we don't have a way to add chambers currently. Now, if I move over to the equipment tab, this job is completed, so I have to hit view history, but you can see all the equipment that we had on this job, and it tells what it was, the serial number, and when we took it off the job, and what drying chamber it was in. Now, if I move over to the drying data tab, once again, it's the first thing it's going to show you is the affected area readings of all the chambers. But what I want to show you is we also have outside and affected area, unaffected area readings. We have moisture points. Let's see, I'll move to this one, has a few more. let's see, maybe, I think it was the garage. We had a few different moisture points and it has all that information. Somebody was moving it around. That's why it's going up. And then if I go to the chamber air readings, this is where I can select any one piece of equipment. So here's that one I showed you. We can look at temperature, our temperature in, out, RH, grains, and grain depression. And then it shows all our visits over here. We can actually pull those visits up. I'm going to go back to the other count and show you how you could take a reading or how you could schedule a visit. So I'm going into a different job here. And when this loads up, what I'm going to show you is that if I go to this drying data tab, what I can do is you can see over here on the visits. So this has a lot of visits. I haven't really been using this account, but it has scheduled visits on it. So it's been taking them. So if you click add visit, you can actually do this remotely. Now I don't have the equipment set up, so you can see the only thing that we got automatically is the outside conditions. Now, normally with smart equipment, if you click that button, all this data would be filled in. But just to show you that we can do this manually, we can say the unaffected is 75 and 50. And then as soon as I move off of it, it's going to calculate my grains. And I could fill all this in. You can see over here we have moisture points. So I can add a moisture point while I'm in the app. I could actually take my manual readings and put them in here. So you can actually work on taking your readings right from within the app. So I do want to show you though, I'm going to actually get out of this visit and show you how you would schedule visits. So if you have remote monitoring enabled with the DryPHONE and you have all smart equipment, you can automate all of your readings. And I'll show you what that looks like. We'll go back to that same drying data tab. And here's the visit scheduler. And all you have to do is say, okay, at 8:40 every day, I want to have a reading. And I can add as many of these as I want. And now it will do that for the duration of the job. So that's what that looks like. And then while your job is, so you can see that we're using ISCRC equipment recommendations. And I could click to complete this job. I could click on the drying report and then I can either view it, copy a link, email it, anything like that. So let me show you the drying report quickly. So this is, I want to show you what this looks like. So this is that job that we did at a drying school. And as soon as this loads here, I'll show you, this is what our drying report looks like. Now, every drying report is a unique web URL, and you can send this to whoever you want. Or if you don't want to send, and then they can hit refresh and it will update as the job is going along. Or you can just turn it into a PDF, either a summary or the full report if you don't want to send the link. So this shows you have all the information. And what's nice about our drying report, you can see this is the summary. So I've got all my affected area GPPs. These are all the ones we put on the report. You can see I can look at my moisture readings. I can look at the outside and unaffected. Here's a summary of all the equipment used on the job. So we're giving you the Xactimate code, the quantity, and the job days for it. You can see we have some job notes down here. I can go into any drying chamber and I can do the same thing, except for now I'm seeing the affected area and the outlet of any dehumidifiers that are in there. I can also look at specific moisture points. We just did a couple readings there, but you would have all of those. And then it gives you all the specific readings that you took. These are atmospheric, and then it'll give you moisture points beyond that. And then you can see here's the individual serial numbers of the equipment used, and then the amount of job days that they were on the job. So I just wanted to show you what the drying report looks like. Okay, so with that, what we're going to do is go back to our presentation and continue along. So I want to talk about some things that are going to be coming soon. So as I mentioned, E3, this is the Chuck DeWall Drying Academy's technology that really assists and helps you do a great job of drying structures. That'll be in Q4 of this year. Advanced asset tracking, which I'm going to talk about, is going to be in Q1 of next year. And then the idea of managing jobs by exception. This will be for companies that are doing a lot of jobs, mainly that want to see all of them and see what's going on quickly. And I'll show you what that'll look like. Then multi-location view, that could be for, again, companies with many locations. And then we're going to introduce the idea of offline mode. This is all what's coming in 2023. Okay, so advanced inventory tracking. We're beta testing now. Tracks inventory with no human interaction. It knows where it is by location. You can receive alerts if you're leaving equipment behind. We can remove it from the job automatically if it goes outside the geofence of the job. We have instant inventory auditing reports, so no need to be taking all the equipment down from the shelf. And then we keep the status of the equipment for you. And this does have a monthly fee. However, it's similar to what you might see in the market today. Okay, so these are the devices that are doing the job here. We have DryTag and DryTag RH. They're sending information all the time, which is allowing us to do the asset tracking. In the future, we're going to build this type of functionality into our equipment, even on the dehumidifiers. We already have it on the air movers. And then we have the other devices that are receiving it. You can see the gateway. There's actually going to be a warehouse gateway and a mobile gateway that will allow you to do various different asset tracking tasks. So this is just a picture kind of illustrating no matter where you have equipment, whether it's on a semi, whether it's in an offsite storage with no power, or on your vehicles or on a job, most importantly on a job. A lot of asset tracking companies, when you dump it at a job, they just know that somebody took it off the truck. We know that you put it on the job. And we know that if there's some that you took off the truck that you didn't put on the job, we know that information. So that comes in very handy. Okay, so this is just giving you a preview. You can see down the left-hand side, we have all the locations. We're showing you on a map your locations. We always have the idea of the map view and the list view. So you can see, we'll make these icons a little clearer, but there'll be vehicles, warehouses, jobs. And if you click on any one, we'll give you a kind of a summary in the map view of what you have there. And then the next slide shows you, again, that list view. So that list view is where you really get into the details. You can see that there's all these different Xactimate categories. You can actually add your own columns. You can put whatever type of equipment in there you want. And then we're summing this all up at the top. We have it all by location. These are all devices that are reporting into gateways, so we know exactly where they are. So if you have a call come in, you could click available and it would show you all your inventory, where it is and what's available. And we know that because we know what you have on the job. So that's important. Okay, this next one is managing jobs by exception. Excuse my crude rendering of this. This is just an idea so far. But I just want to show you the power of this and the idea. Down the left-hand side, we're going to show you all your jobs in rows. And then along the top, we're going to show you all things that you might want to know about the job. Do I have enough dehumidification? Do I have the correct amount of air movers? Is there any equipment that's turned off or out of range? Is my chamber within the correct temperature and RH range? Am I having a chamber that's slow to decrease the GPP based on my settings? Is the job taking too long? Do I have any pump out errors or system protect errors on my equipment? So this is something coming in 2023. Okay, and then offline mode, the idea here is if you don't have cellular or Wi-Fi right now, there's limited functionality for DryLINK, and we are going to add to that and add an offline mode so that you won't have that issue if you don't have connection. So you can see that I'm showing the DryLINK cloud and all this equipment reporting in, and we really need that access today to do all of our functionality. So offline mode coming in 2023. And then multi-location, this would be the idea of one master DryLINK company with many branch locations where I can view all jobs and all equipment, or at the branch level, or whoever I set it up. That's another thing coming in 2023. And with that, I want to move to questions and comments. So we'll open it up at this time, and Jenny can help me with that. And while we're doing that, I'm going to put up this contact information. And I'm actually going to go to the, and in the chat, I'm going to add some resources for you. We have a video that shows you all about how to put the DryPhone on Wi-Fi in case. Now, our DryPhone uses Verizon cellular service. We get really good coverage. But if for some reason you can't get it and you want to get onto Wi-Fi, we have a video that shows you that and everything I just talked about in terms of setting up the DryPhone. We also have a video that walks through the web portal like I just did. And there are many other videos. So I'm going to put those resources in the chat while we're doing the question and answer section. Okay, so I'm actually going to stop sharing so I can get that information, and I'll take the questions. Jenny, did we have any questions I can try and answer here?
Yes, we do. We had one question come in right as you were talking about integrations, asking about integrations. So if you just want to mention again, the such as Encircle integrations.
Okay, so the Encircle integration, so it you get a bearer, so you have to go, we have a document that walks you through it. I can put that in the chat as well. And what we do with that is you get what's called a bearer token, which is just a number that you get from inside of Encircle. And then you go to our web portal and you enter it, and then you hit you hit register, enter the number, and then you will be linked. And then what will happen with the Encircle integration is you'll be able to see a list of jobs, and you can select which ones you want to import into DryLINK so that you don't have to type all that job information again. And then the other thing it allows you to do is the link to the DryLINK drawing report just automatically shows up inside the job in Encircle. Now, there could be a future phases that might sync inventories together and things like that, but that's the current state of that integration.
And on a related note, somebody is asking, will Dash from Nextgear get an integration as well?
Yeah, so what I can say about that is there have been a lot of discussions. I think the more people that ask for it, the more likely it is to happen. We are happy to do that integration.
Okay. The next one, I'm going to read off the comments. We don't have many Phoenix equipment at this time. If we wanted to get one complete system to try, what would you recommend so that we have the ability to remote drying? And then they know that the size of the job would matter, but how much would it take to get us started?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we've been asked that before. So we've developed what's called the DryLINK Residential Kit, and it's the amount of equipment that we consider necessary for your standard residential job. I think the kit is somewhere in the neighborhood of $1,500, maybe it's $1,600. But it does not include a DryPhone. The DryPhone is always purchased separately because we have this partnership with Verizon, and they fulfill the phones separately. So you'd have to add the DryPhone to that. The DryPhone is $379. It's $250 for the phone, $129 for 1 year of data. So that's what it would take really to get started. And, you know, I really do encourage, I mean, obviously, if you're on this webinar, you're interested in this. And this is really, there's so many advantages to this. The industry is changing. If you want to be a leader, I highly recommend getting started with this. I did put the information in the chat. I couldn't see how to add it to the Q&A, but it is in the chat, and I sent it to everyone. The links on the DryPhone video, the web portal video, and then one to just our overall YouTube channel where you'll find 15 different DryLINK training videos. We also have training available to anyone. And I'll share again and put my contact information back up there in case people need training and things like that.
Okay, the next question.
Any other questions?
Yep, we have a couple more.
Okay.
For advanced asset tracking, how are you solving, and this is in quotes, the condo issues, such as the issue being that we could have multiple different claims at the same location? So like multi-housing situation, how would you solve that?
Yeah, I mean, so our asset tracking, what's really unique about our situation is if you have different jobs, we will know that because you're creating the job in DryLINK and you're putting the equipment on the job in DryLINK. So we know jobs 1, 2, 3, 4 have, you know, these different pieces of equipment on those jobs. So we absolutely can tell the difference. That's what's really unique about our system, is that we're not just dropping equipment off at a location, we're actually tracking it by the job. I hope that answers the question.
The next one, there's actually two people who asked similar question regarding, does DryPHONE work in Canada or outside of the US, especially in Canada? We do use Verizon, but do we have a Canadian telecoms company as well that we work with?
Yeah, so there's two answers to that. One is, just today, I finally got the Canadian version of our Verizon account set up so that we can process orders for the Verizon account. We have a coverage map that you can look at to make sure that it will work for you. There also is a way to use your own phone to do remote monitoring. The only thing I would say, and we have, if you know who Joe Verslewis is with Thermistor, and we can get you connected with him. He knows how to do this. We normally say, hey, we can't support every phone in the market, but for Canadian customers who may not get coverage through Verizon, that may be the way to go, and we can help you try and make that happen.
Yep, and I think you answered this, but a follow-up to that was, can we provide our own DryPHONE on our own cell network? I think they mean, can they use their own phone on their own cell network?
Yes. Yeah. So the answer to that, the short answer is yes, but I want to put an asterisk there. If we have coverage, which is all of North America and a good part of Canada, the populated part of Canada, then we can't support you if you have problems, because it's just impossible to support every phone. If you happen to be in a location in Canada where we do not have coverage, then we will just do our best to help you. That's really the answer to that.
And then the last question is, can you use the gateways with staged locations?
Great question. Okay, so yes, you can, and we're beta testing this now. So the idea would be, if you're, setting up for a large loss or something, and you needed equipment not on your truck, but not in a just like staging, like the question asked, then we would use a mobile gateway with a 110 adapter, and then you would be able to have a temporary. It's like a temporary warehouse. So the answer to that is yes.
Great. We don't have any new questions as we've been talking coming in, but we can wait just a couple more moments if anybody has any further questions for Aaron.
Okay, while we're waiting, I just want to also mention to everyone that we do have training available, which we can set up. We can do remotely, or we can do on site if necessary. We have all the videos. There are many resources to help you get going. We tried to make the app as intuitive as possible. I think we've gotten pretty good reviews from people. We always like to hear from contractors to let us know, hey, I wish you would add this feature or that feature. And we really have big plans for DryLINK, and we're looking forward to all the things we're going to add in 2023 that I discussed. So any further questions?
I don't see any new ones coming in.
All right. Well, with that, I want to sincerely thank everyone for taking the time to listen. I'm going to be doing a monthly webinar series on different topics in DryLINK. So watch for the emails, see if anything is interesting to you. And as we move into next year, I'll be doing them on some of these new features that I talked about. So I appreciate everybody's time, and look forward to working with many of these companies that took the time to get on today. Thank you.